maybe they've had knee surgery or health problems. They haven't been able to maintain the house like they'd like to.
Yeah.
They just don't want
Get it
people
up to
in
go
there,
to list,
right?
like ready to go on the market.
Yeah, they just don't want people in there.
Yeah.
And we've tried to be able to help them with that and make them a good, fair offer on their house. Or sometimes they don't work anymore. They're retired. They have their house paid off. They have to sell it to buy another one. We just try to make their life easier.
Yeah.
We've built our business off investing in people.
Welcome. Is that how we do it?
Yeah.
I don't usually interview with her. I'll just roll with it. So, all right, welcome.
Emphasis on the casual.
Welcome. Episode 34, Yellow Colored Glasses. Today, I'm very excited about our two guests that we have on. We've got some claps. So, but before we get started, we are going to read a review. So, Tommy M. said, Jake Warren went above and beyond to give us the quality insurance and prices that we wanted. He dug deep for the right insurance for my family's car and for my collector's car, along with quality home insurance. They are very easy to work with, and I highly recommend their services. Thank you, Tommy.
Good stuff.
Thank you. Reviews go a long way, so if you guys haven't checked out Warren & Mounts, check us out. Check us out on, where are we at? Instagram, Facebook.
TikTok. Yeah.
YouTube,
Website.
Yellow Colored Glasses. So.
Yeah.
Okay. So without further ado,
We're going to talk about our peak and our pit.
we're going to talk about our peak and our pit.
So,
Before I forget. So Mikayla, you go first. What is your peak and your pit, and what does that even mean?
So we're going to talk about a peak and a pit, something that's gone really well this week, something that has not gone very well this week. I am trying to learn instruments, and so I learned a section of a song. So
Yeah.
It's exciting. We've seen your videos.
Oh yeah.
Of you playing and singing.
Yeah.
I really enjoy them.
Oh my gosh!
It's fun.
Thank you. That's
You're
so
super
sweet.
talented.
That's awesome.
That's so sweet.
Yeah,
That
is good.
takes some guts.
Yeah, I feel like doing like thinking and then like this hand and then this hand, like doing it all at once is like tricky.
Absolutely.
But
That's good.
yeah, so that's my peak. What's your
Okay.
peak?
Okay, my peak is... So I've been trying to learn a lot more on some commercial real estate the past month.
That you have.
So
Makes sense.
sometimes I got it down, and sometimes I'm like, what the hell is that? So
You're learning.
I'm learning, but I love it. I love it. So I've been in a big hole with it right now.
Yeah.
But a good hole.
Yeah. My ADD, when I get into stuff like that, I just kind of obsess over
Yes.
whatever I'm into.
Yes.
And commercial real estate is very addicting.
Yeah, and it's just different. You know,
is.
like there's so many different variables, and we're gonna go, but
Yeah, we'll go on a tangent here.
So commercial real estate. Been
Yeah.
really trying to take a deep dive into that and learn a lot about that right now.
Cool.
So,
That's good. You have been doing a lot of that.
Andrea?
Andrea.
That's not fair. We agree.
I'd rather just throw you right under the bus.
Man, our peak. Honestly, our peak for last week was we're back from spring break, so our
Okay.
whole crew
Okay.
is back together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
When you say crew, do you mean family or
Our family. Yep.
Family?
Having
Okay.
the whole family back together, back to our chaos,
Okay.
is exciting for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's totally a peak.
Yeah.
That's my peak.
It is.
Yeah.
So my oldest just got her permit a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
So I'd say my peak was I went for a ride with her on Sunday, and I didn't die.
Didn't
I
die.
got here.
Nice.
So we're all
That's
still
a
here.
win.
Still a win.
Our
Yeah.
peak here is our peak. Okay.
Yeah, that is a pretty
That's a
big
win.
peak for me.
That's a win.
The car's not wrecked. We made it out, and yeah, so it was a good weekend. We got to spend time with family. We haven't really had much time for that. So
Yeah.
it was,
That's
it was
so
a
good.
pretty big win in a world of chaos.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
no
that's awesome.
no volleyball tournaments over the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah.
No work. So we just focused on each other and had fun.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay.
What's my peak? My peak is I had an appointment this morning at the house. I was having like my blood drawn and whatnot. And my rats, I call them my rats. They're dogs, but I call them rats.
That's fair.
And they were just acting like hooligans this morning. And they were jumping all over her, and I felt really bad. They
feel
were
like she was kinda
scratching
rude,
her leg.
honestly.
Well, she filled me in on.
I really do. She was
okay,
rude.
but she filled me in on why, and I understand.
Gosh.
One of the other nurses was bit.
Oh, okay.
And so all of the people that she works with, they've been a little timid of the dogs, which I get it.
I was like, I'm gonna let the dogs in. Are you ready for this? And she goes, she was like, basically said no. I'm like, okay, well, I'm letting them in.
They look for you,
Anyways.
though.
Gosh. Anyways,
But-
go on.
Yeah, so anyway, I just felt really bad that we kind of triggered her, and she was scratched
Gotcha.
from our dogs.
Yeah.
So.
I get it. We have 4 dogs.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have a small dog army.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
What kind of dogs are they?
3 labs and a Yorkie.
See, she would have probably died because of all the, I mean,
Oh my
she would have been
gosh.
so scared.
We have one that will bark and run around in circles, won't let you touch her, and just psycho.
Oh, that would have freaked her out.
And then one that just jumps once right there next to you, and then the old lady and the Yorkie.
She's the boss.
She is the boss. She sure thinks she is.
How big is your Yorkie?
She's
How big?
5 pounds.
Oh, wow.
She's,
Oh, that's a
not-
small-
she's
she's real
little.
Oh, Yorkie. I'm thinking of a Now I was not thinking of a Yorkie, but now I remember what they look like.
Toto dog.
I was thinking of a corgi.
Yorkie, yeah, those get up.
Okay,
know.
and those ones are bigger, but those little guys,
Yeah.
tiny.
Yeah.
So she probably is boss woman up in there.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, she gets everybody all wound up all the time.
I love dogs so much.
So,
You
okay.
always know where you stand with them.
Yeah.
They either love you or they hate you.
You're right.
There's
No,
no,
if you're a good person, most times dogs catch
Right.
on to that stuff real quick.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. We good?
What's your pit?
I thought I already went to my pit, but my pit is.
What is it?
Well, I get them mixed up already. This is my first time doing the peak and the pit thing. Okay.
Okay.
So my pit, that's something negative, right? Something bad.
Yeah. Something that you're not excited about.
What am I not excited about? I don't know right now. I'm very excited about a lot of things right
Yeah.
now. I've been on a freaking
That's a good
high
problem to
for sure.
have.
I guess my pit is I do not like waking up in the mornings, and I've been waking up, but it's been a pit for all year. I mean, I've been
that a laugh?
I mean, I've been waking up early since January, so yeah, just continue to get better with waking up earlier. So
Okay.
that's my pit.
Okay.
I'll figure out a pit later on. Maybe I'll come back to that.
Yeah, I thought I had one. I really don't. We've had
I know.
a pretty good couple weeks here.
That's good.
The sun's
That's- I'm
finally
gonna
shining.
go
Like,
with
if you would have
Devon.
asked me this last week when it was all dull
Yeah.
and nasty outside, I would-
Yeah.
that stuff would just kind of put you in a mood.
I know, right?
I can kind of see the positive in everything. At least I
Yeah.
try to.
That's good.
I mean, no, that's like, and I know it's not all rainbow, it's not all perfect, but like, I'm in a very good positive mood right now. So
Good.
anyways,
Good
Devon.
headspace is
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
I think that's
yeah,
great.
absolutely.
Sun helps.
Yeah, the sun
Yeah.
helps. Sun helps a whole lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, tomorrow, yesterday, or what day was it? It was real cloudy and rainy, and what day was that? That was recent. Maybe it was like last week.
I feel like it was
Yeah.
several
I think
days
it was
last week.
Friday.
Was it Friday?
That was a
Was it
rough
cold,
day.
windy?
That could have been a pit. That was a rough day
Yeah.
all over.
Yes.
Yeah, we had a bad day that day,
Yes.
but it's okay.
Aside from the weather.
Yeah, just
a
flat
crummy
tire,
day.
flat tire. You know, just
That was
Okay, yeah.
Moment where
just one of those days where
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
dropped one vehicle off over here. On the way back, we had a flat tire. And we
Okay.
had to deal with that. It's just like it was one of those days that just challenges
Just
you all
couldn't.
day
Yeah.
and tries to pull you out of your good mood. But
Yeah.
understandable.
Those days happen.
Yeah.
They're there.
Okay.
Cool beans. So without further
Yeah,
ado,
without further ado,
you want to move
Yeah.
into your introduction now?
5 minutes in, love it. No, so yeah, without further ado, we have Devon and Andrea West here with their local business owners. I'll let you guys kind of explain what you guys do, what you guys are about. But I'm very excited about this. We all have a lot of like-minded interests, I guess. We do a lot of the same things. We both work with our spouses. All of us work with each other. So, yeah, without further ado, tell us a little bit about you guys and your guys' business.
So we own New Edge Realty Partners,
Okay.
which is a real estate team. We're based out of Keller Williams Southland Partners in Raymore. We have 6 agents that work for us. We list and sell houses, help
Okay.
buyers and sellers unite to hit the seller's goal, whatever that might be.
Okay.
And then we have another side of our business, which we do investment properties. Most of our investment properties are actually buying properties that are distressed. People haven't paid the taxes. Life circumstance change. They can't take care of them for several years.
Yeah.
Sure.
Don't want to deal with a bunch of people in and out of their house. They'll call us.
Okay.
We make an offer on every house that people could have us list to try to push the easy button.
Okay.
You know, if you don't want to deal with inspections, you don't want to
Okay.
deal with a bunch of people. This is what we can do.
Okay.
And we've been able to help a lot of people that way. A lot of people get a lot of anxiety about strangers coming through their
Sure.
home.
Yeah.
Being able to keep it clean as maybe they've had knee surgery or health problems. They haven't been able to maintain the house
Yeah.
like they'd like
Like
to.
Yeah.
They just don't
get
want
it up
people
to
in
go
there,
to list,
right?
like ready to go on the market.
Yeah,
I'm assuming.
they just don't want people in there.
Yeah.
And we've tried to be able to help them with that and make them a good fair offer on their house. Or sometimes they don't work anymore. They're retired. They had their house paid off. They have to sell it to buy another one. We just
Yeah.
try to make their life easier.
Yeah.
We've built our business off investing in people, and that's been the most important piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Once that clicked, everything came solutions to their
Yeah.
problems. And once we started doing that, we kind
Yeah.
of started growing.
Absolutely.
That's
That's so
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
So do you guys have like specific roles in your job?
Oh yeah.
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 Oh
Figure
yeah,
that-
confidence.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yes.
It took a while for us to figure that out once we started working together.
Yeah.
But we're both good at completely different things.
Okay, so what are those
About
things?
right.
So
yeah,
he's-
let's hear it because I would love to hear it because honestly, like, so how we know you? I mean, like, know me and you, Devon. We've known each other for a little bit, and Andrea maybe. Did we? I never met you until.
I talked to you on the phone.
I was gonna say,
lot
maybe on
more
the
than I'd
phone.
actually met you.
Oh,
But
that's
other
right,
than
that's
that,
true.
like, social media, but really, we haven't all known each other that long at all.
Right.
We've known of each other, but I think probably the past 2 years. I mean, when we had
Yeah.
lunch that one time,
Yeah,
that's when we
that's
really
what
got
we
to know
did.
each other. I don't even think I'd ever shaken your hand since
Right.
until that day. So, yeah, I'm very intrigued with your guys' story and your guys' the roles and everything that goes on with that because.
The venture to here.
Yeah, it's been an ordeal.
Yeah,
Lots of ups and downs.
I'm
and,
sure.
Figuring out stuff.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a control freak.
Yeah.
She's
Okay.
kind of a control freak too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So finding middle ground on different things. And
Sure.
She had a very high level job before she came.
Okay.
So just to rewind, when I started this business in 2014. I got my real estate license. Real estate's really hard to break into. So your first year is very slow, and then 50%, I think it's 50% of agents never renew their license. So there's a lot of pressure there because
Wow.
there's not a lot of training. It's just kind of sink or swim. You
Yeah.
figure it out. So we started that, and I think I worked 60, 70, 80 hours a week. I made like $10,000 to $15,000 that first year.
Oh my gosh.
Luckily, my beautiful wife had a great job with a good salary to help us get through that.
Yeah.
I was working on the side, selling and doing odd jobs and everything I could do to keep us going.
That was back in 14, right?
That was in 14. Fast forward, I started to get some traction. Started to get a little bit of business built up. That's really what it takes. It just takes consistency over in time.
Yeah.
And luckily, I was able to do that. But we had kind of hit the point. She was working down on the plaza for a big financial company.
Okay.
It was tough. We moved to Pleasant Hill.
Now, did you guys move here in 14?
We moved here in 15.
15?
I think, or 16.
The very beginning of 16.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
Where did you guys live at
just
before
trusts
that?
me way
then?
too much. Blue Springs.
Yeah, way too
okay.
much.
Emphasis on too much.
So
I would agree.
literally one day I came home. I was like, this woman called me to list her house, but I think we just buy it.
Oh my gosh.
So we're moving to
Yes.
Pleasant Hill.
So that's what you were suggesting?
No, it was, we're
No,
going
it
to buy
was-
this house. We have a meeting with her tomorrow night so you can see it.
But he definitely talked to you about it, and
Oh, yeah. That's definitely.
it was not like, hey, we should do this. It was like, hey, babe, like, let's talk
I
about
mean, I
it.
wasn't like, we're definitely doing this, but it was,
You can
this
always
is a
say
good
no.
opportunity.
Yeah.
And we were getting ready, we needed to move anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it only made sense. Look, I'm a hunter. I spend a lot of time outside. I went to this property, it had been vacant. There was deer tracks within 10 yards
Oh boy.
So I was
of the
saying,
garage doors.
This is it.
This is
and
it.
it was
Forget
on
what the house is.
Yeah.
beautiful piece of property. So I was like, it's perfect.
And this is the place you guys live at now.
No,
The deer tracks, they were
it's actually
perfect.
next door.
Another story.
Right now.
That's
I think
another
I knew
story.
that somehow. 'Cause I remember, anyways, go on.
So we moved there for a while, and then I don't know what year was it? 2017, 18.
When?
When I moved my license over to Keller Williams.
17.
Okay.
Part of the ordeal with that was they were going to give me tickets to essentially a nationwide event.
Okay.
And I happened to get into the room with some people I didn't deserve to be in the room with. Just very high level agents that were selling $100 million worth of real estate a year. But I just got into this room and I got to talk to some of these people that were way farther ahead than I was. And I had struggled. I was trying to find somebody to help me with my paperwork on the back end. And I had been through like 3 or 4 different people in the past 6 months. I just couldn't find anybody that would plug in. And we had built a good enough business that we could survive off just my income at that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I came home and I was like, look, I think it's time for you to quit your job out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah. So
What did you think about that? Was that exciting? Was that
No.
What? No.
No.
What was the job?
what was the job?
Like, was it a manager position? Or?
What I did?
Uh-huh.
I worked in wealth management.
Okay.
I loved it. I've been in banking, wealth management, had my advisors that I worked for, the relationships with the clients that we had. It was great.
Yeah.
And he was like, you're going to quit your job. And I was like, I'm going to do what?
I didn't say it like that.
It was close. It was
Well,
close.
there's pretty much, like, if we're going to move forward, that's our next step.
Yeah.
We were also having a lot of issues. We got 4 daughters. So, and she was working on the plaza till 6 o'clock at night. So she wouldn't get home till 7.
Yeah.
And the logistics of me being in real estate, at that point in time, I was working with a majority of buyers, which you work when they need
Correct.
you.
Yep.
So when they can see houses, I had to be there.
Yep.
And we have 4 kids. And when they need us, we need to be there.
Yeah.
So the logistics of our life was horrible.
Yeah.
Our work-life balance was so far out of
Yeah.
whack.
Yeah.
It went like a moment of kind of like you go to a business and you go and you have dinner. We went and had dinner, more of a business dinner. Let's figure this all out. Let's
Like you
lay
two
it- yeah.
alone?
Let's
Okay.
lay it all
Yeah.
out on the line. What does it take?
And that was in 17?
That was in
We were 17.
Well,
Okay.
17, 18, February of 18, I finally made the
switch.
jump.
Okay.
Yep.
That's
5
cool.
years later, here we are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Best thing we ever did.
Best thing we ever did.
That's
So
awesome.
you're happy with
No.
how it all.
Oh yeah.
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 We had a lot of learning curve.
There's
I
a
bet,
lot of
yeah. I
people
feel
that
like-
helped kind of like step in and they were like, hey, there's a couple that we work with, great mentors, look up to them a lot. Kind of,
Yeah.
she talked to me, talked to him, we'd had some moments. You've got
Yeah.
to figure a few things out.
'Cause that's hard.
Yeah.
It-
I mean,
it was.
especially not even. I mean, really, when you look at your guys' situation, I mean, real estate in general, like you said, a lot of people don't make that, right? So one, you either have to get completely focused and committed to making it work,
Yeah.
right? Which it sounds like you did.
Yeah.
But then you took it another step further,
Yeah.
and you said, "Hey, let's get rid of this Social Security over here." Or with your consistent job there,
Yeah, there
and let's
was
go
our
all in.
regular income that we were banking on every few weeks. Let's just
And then throw
send
that,
it.
you
Get
guys
rid
are
of it.
spouses and
Yeah,
working
it was-
with your spouse.
it was a
I mean,
deal.
that's
Yeah.
Well,
there's a lot of things.
We got married September of 2017.
Oh my gosh,
And
you
worked
guys were
together
Oh,
February 20.
wow.
So we
okay.
just got married.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay. That's pretty cool. How long had you guys been together before that?
Oh, a while.
Yeah.
A while.
A while.
How long have you guys been?
Probably 4 or 5 years at that
Okay.
point.
Yeah.
So you guys been here about 10 years.
2013. Yeah.
about how long we go.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was
to get married and then
tough.
dive in.
Yeah.
That's a jump.
Because I had built a business from nothing.
Yeah.
So, and I am kind of a control freak.
Yeah.
Even if the stuff I'm not good at, if I'm
Yeah.
used to doing it, I feel like I need to do it.
Yep.
There's a hard time of letting go.
So I had to completely, basically pull myself out of that whole back end role and just say it's
Yeah.
yours.
Yep.
And that was more difficult for me than anything. That's just because I have such a high standard of everything.
Which is great.
It's
Which
it's
is
good
amazing.
and bad. Like it's sometimes it's to the point where I'm like, we have to talk to people a certain way. Everything has to look a certain way. Everything has to be perfect. And I physically I get sick if it isn't.
Yeah.
And she
And that's
was
probably
just new
gotten
into
better over the years too. I
Yeah,
would say.
now I don't do anything.
Well,
I mean, let's be honest. I'm
When you
pretty
just fall-
lost out here.
Yes, ma'am.
I would be completely lost.
Oh, I hear you. I know you would.
Yeah,
I would too.
100%. I wouldn't
No.
even know how to do anything.
But I feel like that happens. Like when I feel like at the very beginning, whenever you build something, you do it, you create the process, and then it's like now you're letting somebody else in, and you're probably thinking, well, I know I can. In the back of your head, do that better. Or I
do
the
that
only person who
faster,
can do that,
Yeah,
yes,
more
is this,
efficient.
or it needs to be done this way because that's how I've always done it.
Right.
And even though this way maybe probably gets it done more efficient and better, but you're like, well, I've done it this way.
Yeah.
But I feel like as we've gotten older and probably more mature and probably more confident in everything that you do,
Yep.
that
Right.
stuff gets easier.
Right.
Is that
and then
accurate for you guys, you think?
I wasn't good at that side of the
Yeah.
business, and she's been in customer relations forever.
Yeah.
At a very high level.
Yeah.
But she didn't know the real estate business yet.
At all.
Yeah.
Sure.
At all, and
Not
it was
at
a
all.
different thing. And it was very close to me because I built it from nothing, and
Yeah.
I was scared to death, and then I was scared to death of her having to even work. At that point, I was like, well, maybe she can just do whatever she wants to do and live her life, but she has. And the other side of that was mental health.
Yeah.
For her, she's a very strong person, so she has to own whatever
Yeah.
she's doing.
Yeah.
And I had to let go of that. It wasn't that I didn't trust her. I just didn't want her to have to do anything. I don't want her to have to stress out.
It's
Yeah.
that moment when our roles totally separated. He's the face, as I'm sure everybody knows. He's the face, and then I handle the back end. So I normally don't meet clients until they're clients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he gets that part, and
Yeah.
they mesh together occasionally.
Yeah, I'm a strategy nerd. I get obsessed with the strategy of buying and selling because there's a psychological game with every single deal and getting it put together, and there's different ways to structure this or that, and your offers have to be this way or this way to win. And at the time, that's what I was obsessed with. So then all of a sudden she's here, and I don't have to worry about the other stuff. All I get to focus on the stuff I like.
Yeah.
And then I
So
get
you're
really
good.
excited. And then I get super jacked up about
Yeah.
every single deal because then I'm winning for my clients more.
Yeah.
Because the back end stuff, honestly, I wasn't winning for anybody. I was getting it done,
Yeah.
getting it done,
Yeah.
but not efficiently.
Yeah.
And then that brought in a whole different level of trust between us, and it actually
Sure.
grew our marriage
Yeah.
a
A
lot.
lot.
Oh yeah.
Closer.
A lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
It changes. You have a whole different dynamic. It's
Oh,
not
yeah,
just our
absolutely.
home life, it's our life.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So here's a question. Were you gonna ask something?
I forgot
I was
what
gonna
it
say,
was.
here's a question. So, and this is something that me and her go back and forth on sometimes, and we kind of catch ourselves. We actually just had a conversation like just over the weekend about this. About do you guys talk about business all the time? Like, and
Yes.
you guys try to stop
We
talking
did.
about it,
We
right?
did. I had somebody tell me one time you have to, because I was like, sometimes we work from home. Our
Yeah.
home is our office. Our car is our office. Our dinner is everything. We're talking about it. So she's like, you have to pick a room in your house.
To talk it.
You cannot talk about it.
Did you
Oh,
mentioned this
okay.
to me at
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Which
You
is
have to
great.
designate
Like,
a
I love
room. And I
this.
was like, okay. She's like, when you lay down at night, do you guys kind of roll through your brain? And I'm like, yeah. In the morning as we're getting ready, we're talking
Yeah.
about what are you doing today? And she's
Yeah.
like, your room, your bedroom has to be your safe spot. You cannot talk about business. And so then there'd be like times where I'd like go lay down and sitting there thinking through things of the day to go
Sure.
to talk to him. I'm like,
Yeah.
Can't talk to you about that right now.
Yeah. I feel like you have to have that guard, that block to kind of force self-control on yourself, because even last night, we do not have any kind of like room stipulations implemented yet.
That's a good idea.
Which we should. But we were laying in bed and I was like, we have to, literally exactly what you just said, we have to like differentiate when is it going to be business talk and then when is it going to be personal time, because I don't like, I'm with you because you're you. And I'm not with you to be a business partner with you. You're my life partner.
Yeah.
It's very nice, and I love the perk of working with you in business too. But this all was started by a personal, relationship.
The other thing that was huge was you have to go on a date.
Yeah.
Actual date.
Absolutely.
Not dinner, not something you would regularly do. You have to go on a date, and you have to keep your focus off of, for us, you have to not talk about kids, not talk about work. And that's probably one of the hardest things.
Yeah.
Because when you get that
Now, do you guys
one-on-one
talk about
personal
business
time,
on the date?
we are not supposed to.
Okay. Because
Not in the
know.
We've gotten a lot better.
It's easier since we have such different roles now.
Yeah.
Like we can talk a little bit about business, but what I'm working on and what she's working on is two different
Sure.
things. So we'll run ideas past each other, but really at the end of the day, it doesn't affect us like it used to. When we both did the same stuff every day,
Yeah.
it was a problem.
That's true. I can see that because you're like going like, I'm following you on that. And I think and just to kind of go back and forth on that, like I feel like when we first started, because I had, I had done I had done all these things a certain way.
Yeah.
And I'm not the best at training people. I almost get to a spot where I just start telling people what to do or how to do it, and if it doesn't happen, I'm like, well, that's why we didn't close this deal, was because it didn't go this way. And that's a bad way to say it, but that's probably how it was coming off a lot, right?
Well, and I feel like, sorry to cut you off, but I
No,
feel like that's kind of where we had to implement boundaries. Like,
Correct.
I love that you want to teach me all of these things,
Yep.
and I want to learn them, but we're going to say it in a certain way.
Yep. There was a lot of times my verbiage with her was terrible. Like, and I would
Well,
say,
I still feel like that pretty much daily.
oh, it was terrible. And I'm like, and I look back, like one time, one time,
Oh, is this back when we were doing the...
yeah, well, I said she was terrible. I said, that was terrible.
Oh,
But
no.
the way I thought it in my head, because like if someone tells me, if you said that to me, and then you said, but, I'd be like, okay, great. We got some positive here, right? What's the positive? What's the but? She got a phone call. She goes, how was that? I was like, well, that was honestly, I won't be upfront. That was just terrible. Dude,
How'd that work out?
I pictured it going way different in my head. It did not go nothing like it. Immediately, face went like, nah. I'm like, well, I was like, but
Everything you were about to say afterwards.
oh yeah, I knew it
Yeah.
was
Gone.
and it didn't go that way. And I had very good intentions behind it. Nothing about it was, because she always tells me, your first time is always going to be your worst. And that's where I was going with it. But I could have said things way different. And anyways, I remember that day, and there had been other times after that I still messed up. But the verbiage on it is a big deal, right?
Delivery.
Because even though like I
Could've
have
been.
good intentions behind everything I was going to say, and it was nothing but great. Nothing like that. None of that came through my
Devon's
mouth.
gotten really good at, I know you could do this, but it's really not what you're best at.
How does that?
Okay.
How does that?
No,
I know
it
it's
doesn't work.
coming. I'm like, here we go again. But it's a lot better than.
Yeah. It is.
That's
I've
good.
got a problem with like toddler explaining things because I'm so bad at criticism. I don't want to criticize her at all. So because
Yeah.
Almost
she's my
enough.
person, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the last thing I want to do is make her feel bad about anything. So I'll like ask stupid questions to get her to the answer that we really need to get to.
Yeah.
That's how
And-
I
and then-
operate.
Really?
That's how, that's me.
So she'll just stop when she realizes what I'm doing and just stare at me with that face, that face of disappointment. Like, I'm not one of the kids. You're going to have to talk to me like an adult. But then if I talk to her like an adult, I'm trying not to be. Because
Yeah.
the side of my business that she doesn't really work in is the strategy side. So
Yeah.
sometimes when I'm putting together, whether somebody's in a multiple offer situation or we're in a multiple offer situation on the listing side, and a strategy on how we're going to win for our clients. The way I explain that to her, because it all is, if this works this way, this works good this way, and I'm like 10 layers in my head.
Yeah.
Sure.
And the way I explain things to her sometimes is so elementary, but it's also the way I explain it to myself in my head.
Yeah.
I say I need to be explained like that. Like I'll always joke. Do you guys watch The Office?
A little bit.
Okay. Isn't that The Office? Explain it to me like a
What?
5th grader.
Yeah.
That's me. Just because
Michael Scott.
Caleb, that's a good example. Like I was telling you guys out here, he'll start explaining stuff to me, and I'm like, all right, well, that sounds great, but what do you mean? Like let's dumb it down. A little
You
bit, buddy.
lost me a long time ago.
Yeah, like I'll just stop listening. I'm like, yeah, okay, just tell me what's the conclusion? Like what is the final verdict here?
Sometimes, yeah,
So
I get
anyways.
that 100%.
Okay, so that's cool. So we got the business up and rolling. You guys working together,
Yep.
basically dropping your job, dropping your consistent pay. That's awesome.
That's a really scary.
Yeah.
I think for us, and you guys tell us like where you were whenever this happened for you, but I feel like for me it was a big financial jump.
Yeah.
Because at the time, specifically at this time, my income was definitely like carrying the float,
yeah.
carrying the, it was the certainty
Yeah.
of, it's going to be like this every single month. And
up
once
and
you
down.
lose that, it's like, okay, so now we're swimming and now we can't stop swimming.
Yeah, that's a
What are we gonna do
struggle.
now?
So our brains work completely differently.
Completely.
Hers is very much like that. Like I have to have a plan, a financial plan for everything. I'm pretty much like the deeper the water, the harder I'm going to swim.
Okay.
And that is how I live my life. So that is not
Yep.
how she functions at all. Like she's like,
Okay.
keep me where it's knee deep, and I'm just happy.
Yeah.
So the difference, and that's something we still deal with every day, is I get motivated by trouble, and the more chaos, the better I am.
Yeah.
Where with her, she likes to be in calm waters.
Yeah.
So
You gotta have a balance.
we've
too.
had to
That's
find that
good.
balance, and
It's a lot of
because
trust.
I'd go all in
Yeah,
on
I'm
everything
sure.
I'm doing, because I used to bet on other people all the time, and that was before I understood like we're truly here to help people.
Yeah.
And once that clicked, that most people aren't here to help people, they're here to help themselves. Everything else works out.
Yeah.
And I have 100% confidence in that would, if you focus on,
It wasn't about the money anymore.
it was never about the money. I don't even look at any of our money. Outside of what we spend on these flip houses, it was, we have people with real problems. How do we find them solutions?
Yeah.
And that most people aren't doing. And
And that's exactly, yeah. If you can find, because it's not about the money. The money's, of course, everybody's motivated by something, right? If you're motivated by that, and you can't just be motivated and then everything else just start happening, right?
Right.
You can't just,
Right.
like there's a lot of good people in this world, but I'm sorry, not every good person in this world has everything come to them.
Right.
You got to take the hard work and the literally like do whatever type mentality to figure it out. And I'm the same way, like, the more stuff I have going on, like the bigger the problems that we have, the more efficient I am.
Right.
The times where I don't have a lot on my plate is the times I start, getting hung up on these little problems. And those little problems are freaking irrelevant whenever you're thinking at the end of the day. Like, solve the problem, get on with it, go on, right? But if you don't have enough problems on your plate and
Right.
basically
Yeah.
enough water to swim in,
Then
right?
you start getting analytical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that
overthinking.
goes that goes a lot. Like yes, you guys are good people. You guys want to help people out, and that's your motivation. But you guys are also freaking hustlers and hard workers, and you guys do whatever it takes to get shit done.
Right.
And that's where everything else kind of goes full circle.
Yeah.
From what I'm
Yeah,
seeing.
it does. You just have to love what you're doing too. We both came from corporate jobs, so
Yeah.
the idea of and if you tell me to swim,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tread water. Like that's
Oh my
the
God.
way
I love that you're saying this.
that is how my head works.
Yes.
If everybody else is going that way,
Yep.
I want to work around them.
Yeah.
And that's how we have found success is we have figured out that this isn't just showing houses and looking
Way
pretty.
Yeah.
Like these people are trusted with their biggest
Yeah.
financial decisions. How do we win for them?
Yeah.
And that can look completely different for everybody.
Yeah.
I used to think it was all money driven, but it's not. Some people care about less headaches, some people care about the money, and some people don't care at all about the money. They just want to end up wherever their goals are. And understanding that and understanding that there's a strategy for everything to accomplish their goals
Yep.
was a big click point for
Yeah.
me.
Yep.
And you have to execute what you guys are talking about, to be helpful to people. You have to really listen to
Right.
people, and you have to listen to what their
Which
their
goes
hot
to
button
show
is.
what you-
Yeah.
You know, you have to, okay, is this motivated by the money? Is this person motivated by just working deals because they like doing it for fun, you know? So kudos to you guys for taking
Yep.
the time to work with your clients and spend time with them.
And that
That's
probably,
a requirement.
That probably goes
Yeah.
into the whole, the other side of the other, because I know you guys are selling, buying. So anybody who needs to, list their house, buy a house. I mean, you just helped Caleb in our office.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're allowed to say that or not, but you just helped him buy a house, right? So, that's of course that's one portion. But then the other part, which she just kind of said to piggyback off that, what you guys also saw was a need with this market, right? That
Yep.
some people, right? They didn't have maybe where they could go to war with somebody who had more money or go into a bidding war, and maybe you guys could get up a property, get it up to date, be a great house for somebody like.
Yeah. So
I mean, is that-
basically,
is that valid?
what was that, 2018? I used to flip houses years and years and years ago.
Really? I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah, I had gotten a really bad car accident and couldn't work for a year. I couldn't walk. I had flipped some houses back then. Had some
Wow.
investment properties.
Okay.
That's a significant accident, then.
Yeah, it was bad. I got hit head on by
Oh,
a
you
semi
told me that.
truck.
Yep.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh.
Got a fake hip, fake knee. So that kind of changed my mentality.
Wow,
a
yeah.
lot when all that happened.
I'm sure.
But so I had a bunch of veteran clients that weren't able to find houses. The last 5 years in the real estate world around here, it was all about listing agents wanting to get the best amount of money and less headaches for their sellers. Well, VA loans come with their own set of problems, and my vets were having a tough time finding houses.
I wouldn't say problems. We'll say stipulations.
Stipulation. It's
Good.
it's,
Yeah.
it's the government. They're just going to add more headaches.
That's
I tried.
that's a better.
I tried.
I
That's
understand
the
that.
real answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just make
They're
it
not doing
freaking
them
hard.
justice. They're
Yeah.
just giving them headaches.
Yeah.
So I had these other people that had houses that needed a lot of work. Well, with VA, there's certain stipulations the houses have to hit. They have to have up-to-date electrical and different
Sure.
things. So I was like, well, why don't I buy these houses and sell them to these guys and fix them up? So that's
Yeah.
what we started doing. And it kind of grew. It became a big passion project for me. And we did 4 or 5. And then we had some people, we had a divorce situations where they're getting ready to lose everything, but we can put some money in their pocket and they can get out of it without any headaches. It's been a blessing. We've found dogs that were abandoned. I'd rather save the dog than the person probably, but
Me too, dude.
but I was able to take.
I did.
I had
I'd save a
I had
dog.
this German Shepherd.
She came home for a day.
I had this German Shepherd. She was kind of mean to some people, but she was abused. Like she was skin and bones.
So little.
And I was like, I called the guy and I was like, look, I'm taking your dog. You're
my
not going
gosh.
to you're not going to leave this dog out here in a hailstorm
Goodness
with
gracious.
Yeah.
no shelter.
I hate that.
Oh,
So
no.
I'd hate
that was the
that.
first
Okay.
one together. Was that one? And
It wasn't.
it wasn't. Yeah, it was.
Oh, I can tell you about it. Yeah, it was.
And that one was a pretty messy one.
Yeah.
But if not, they would have lost the house. They wouldn't have had any money. They're both in a better headspace. Sometimes when people go through that, it's not that they're bad people.
In a bad
when you go through
situation.
a bad situation, go through a divorce, or you go
Yeah.
through a big life,
Yeah.
like you're
Yeah.
looking at everything through beer goggles. Like everything
Yeah.
just seems really negative.
Yeah.
And sometimes as easy as unloading a house and getting into a new
Yeah.
situation
Just a different
Absolutely.
will bring them
environment.
into a different person.
Yeah.
And,
That's true. That's a good point.
So it took some time to understand that and not judge people, because we've all been in bad spots.
Yeah. 100%.
So I have been in bad mental spot more times than I like to say.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, somebody betting on you and trying to help you out of a bad situation can put you in a better headspace.
Yeah, just the
Absolutely.
mindset of somebody's there to help, and then it's a human being. It's not just somebody who's just trying to make
Right.
a dollar off of you too. It's
Right.
like,
Right.
hey, like what can we do here to help?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you want to not have to clean up all your stuff, or you want to
Yeah.
not move your stuff out, and we'll
Yeah.
deal with it.
Correct.
Like whatever we got to do to help you out and get you out of the situation, that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The most recent one was a woman in her 90s. She has been living in filth. She couldn't take care of. It's her own fault. She was stubborn. She didn't want
Sure.
to leave, but her family had to do something because she was just not living in a healthy
Yeah, yeah.
situation. And the only way to get rid of that house is something like what we were
Like what we
doing.
did.
So we'll buy those type of houses and
Wow.
completely gut them and start over, and then try to put a vet in them. Now, not always is there a vet ready to go
For
into
sure.
them, but
Try to find somebody in a situation that could really benefit from what we have, not the multiple offers, not the
yeah.
craziness.
And we try to sell them before they ever go to market, so which costs us money. I mean, obviously, bidding wars and stuff that we've had the past couple of years
Yeah.
would make us more money.
Yeah.
But that's not really what it's about. For
So
us.
how do you guys maneuver that? First of all, like on the work side, like on the physical labor side,
Yep.
who goes in and does all that work? And then second question, how are you finding those vets? Like, do they know that you guys are like placement people for that, or like how does that
Some
pan
of them
out?
do. Word of mouth travels pretty fast when you start going out of your way
Really
to help
fast.
people.
Okay.
That's true.
But we really don't market it. This is the first time I've actually ever talked about it in front of anybody.
well, and that's like we only knew
I did
about
not.
all that.
I did
because-
not.
What?
I really only knew about the real estate piece for you
Well,
guys.
yeah, but on the flip side, on the insurance stuff, like I didn't know how much you guys did until we started kind of rolling with it.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I've talked with my man, and they're doing a lot of flips.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, go on. Sorry.
Devon has a problem.
Yeah, and I love that.
I love it.
I love it.
I bet.
And as far as the work goes, so I've got, at this point, I've got a full-time project manager who helps me.
Which literally landed in our
Yeah, which
laps.
landed in my lap, which was a godsend. But he's on site every day, making sure everything's ready for the next
Oh, that's nice.
crew that comes in.
That's nice.
I do all the design work and figure out exactly what we're going to do to these houses, what we need to do to them, what we don't. I deal with those buyers directly and all the negotiations. Andrea kind of sticks on the real estate side. She handles the real estate business pretty much, I'd say 80% of it now. Outside of, I figure out logistics, put together contracts.
Yeah.
Once they're under contract, Andrea and Shauna, we have a full-time transaction coordinator now.
Okay.
They pretty much, they're so much better than I ever was. But they
That's probably
go
not
through and
saying
take
much
care of
at
it. It's not, you're right.
I'm joking.
Kick him
But
out.
the
That's no
logistics
slack.
side is what
That's
I
no
like.
shade.
I love that side of the real estate transactions. I do not like sitting there looking at a computer doing
Dude,
it.
I can't see you doing that.
That's because I'm
So
bad at it.
badass.
That's why.
So your project manager now, okay. Whenever it comes to the flip, are you guys making these livable or just
Oh, yeah.
purchasable?
Oh no, they are.
Very
Fun
nice.
fact about Devon. He is the designer. He likes the colors. He does the design. He is that. All of it, from the exterior to the interior to
Do you like
knocking
that
out a
stuff?
wall. I hate it. Knocking out a wall and adding a bathroom. All this guy. So that's what we do. Like that particular house he's talking about. There's closed off spaces, knocked out a wall. It only had one bathroom upstairs. Added another bathroom. It is going to be beautiful.
So you
But
go
that's
in-
because he
Is this
He
is
does
this a
it
house close to our house?
all
No,
that's
but that's
a different house. That's another house.
I saw that one. That was the house. Okay, you know the house at the bottom of that hill?
Yeah. The white
That
one.
house. We love that house. I don't know if that's your guys' style or not.
So that's
Is
the
it?
exact style that house is getting ready to turn into.
Shut up.
Oh my God.
White and black.
It was
Don't
really
tell
funny.
me
We
too
changed
much.
the colors and
You
then
were-
drove down the street and we're like, oops.
Do you know where we live at?
What's that?
Do you know where we live at?
I know you live in that same neighborhood.
Yeah. So we're like ours is like that. It's like that black and white.
Oh,
too.
my
But-
word.
I love it. And that house, so you know the house I'm talking about, it needs to be like a modern farmhouse style.
Yep.
Yeah.
That'll be
So,
really cool.
The inside of that one has been gutted.
Where is this at?
This is in
It's
our
right,
neighborhood.
right up the
The
street from you.
cul-de-sac that backs up to
Okay,
Lexington.
you know the house that we're
Oh,
keep watching.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, basically the same house, but like
Well, not
on the
really.
opposite side.
Not really the same house at all.
But they face each other. They're
Yes,
parallel to
yes,
each other.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's fun. So that one was more of I just want to do a really high-end house.
I was gonna say that's a higher end one.
That
I
is
mean,
Oh
that
my
is our
God.
highest end house so
Yeah.
far.
I think you guys have told me too much. If it's gonna look like that one at the bottom of the hill,
So yeah,
It's gonna be a bad deal.
It's well on its way, and that one was pretty well trashed inside, but it's
It had
been
definitely
pretty much
seen better
gutted.
days.
We're starting paint on the interior now, finishing the basement out. It's gonna be a 6-bedroom house,
Dude, I
so
love
by
that.
far bigger than anything we've touched before. But
That'll be good for a comp. Well, it'll be
It'll
good
be
for our
good.
neighborhood.
if you happen to see two people just like loitering,
go walk through it.
go looking like
She's
this.
I'll send you the code. You can
She's
go check it
terrible
out.
with
So
that.
fun.
I know.
Go check it
Anytime.
Okay, this is a great time to ask a question then for the real estate. Okay, are you allowed to just walk into new
okay.
builds?
I don't like the verbiage. On
Okay,
there.
then you
Technically,
verb it.
no.
Then
Yeah, because you use the word allow. Are you
Okay,
allowed?
go.
No, you're
You
not
ask
allowed.
it.
You.
No.
Mikayla is terrible. She's like, oh, it's new construction. They won't
You.
care. I'm like, yeah.
It depends on the builder.
And that's what
Some
I said.
care, some don't care. Some are, and the only reason they do care is typically because they're scared of you guys are insurance people.
Dude, I know.
Like-
Trust me, I'm not that.
That just clicked for me.
I'll
You're
literally-
insurance people.
She'll be like, I'm like, yeah, you can go. I'm staying right here. If someone's getting in trouble, you will.
And I
Right.
get my ass right out of the car. I walk up in there and I go
She
check it
will.
out.
That sounds cool. They have this layout. I'm like, no, that's cool. Let's go.
No, it's a problem when you start. We do a lot of new builds, and I have designed floor plans from nothing and started those, and
He's a freak when it comes
Oh.
I love that stuff. So I get it. A lot.
Mikayla likes this stuff. Like, so I like the whole process, like the transaction piece of it, like getting it done. The middle process. Now, again, I guess I probably because we've done we've only done 2 flips. So
Okay, it's 3:01 and I
Yeah.
told you that this was going to be an hour, so
we'll
we
wrap
need
it.
to wrap
We'll
it up.
wrap it. Yeah, it'll be good.
I just
But-
don't. I want to be conscious of your
Well, in
guys'
the
time.
first we were jacking around a little bit.
I know, but I told her that this
Oh,
would.
you don't
that-
Oh,
know.
you're
That's
fine.
all.
We
We're good.
have
Okay,
until
okay.
4:30.
Okay, so we got 2
I've got a
hours.
Not
closing at 4:30, so it's my favorite day.
Perfect.
It may be a celebratory drink.
So we've done just the 2 flips, and each one of them has been like we've done really well on each one, like, and it's been full on guts. I mean, like from new plumbing, new electric. I mean, it's brand new homes basically, and I always liked like the transaction side of it, like buying it, seeing what we're gonna do, looking at the numbers, and then I wish I could just push fast forward.
Yeah.
And then to the
Yeah.
end, and then like, all right, now we're what we can list it at.
all
And
the fast forward portion is like my
that's
favorite
Mikayla's
portion.
thing. And I I don't know why. Like I don't know why. Like I don't like it as much. Maybe because I'm the one in there like freaking doing all the demo work and pulling the insulation out, and I'm
that's
breathing
probably
in.
it.
Well, and
terrible.
you're working with the painter and the plumber, and
Yeah, trying to do
you're
all
doing all the
everything else.
conversations,
Yeah.
and I'm just at Home Depot
Picking
Doing
things
all the
picking out my colors.
And then we'll go in there, and she goes, "Oh, well, they didn't do this right." And I'm like, "God dang, I gotta get these guys out here." So maybe that's why. But anyways, so
Probably.
you like that? You like the whole?
I love the whole.
But it sounds
process.
like you like the transaction portion too of
I do.
like the numbers. Does this deal make sense?
I do,
That
and-
portion of it.
But we're buying them differently, so
I know.
I'm. It's very difficult because I'm buying them to help these people out. So I'm trying to get them the most money as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Where typically on a real estate investment deal, the goal is to make the most money.
Correct.
For me, I'm trying to find that balance.
Yeah.
So what are you selective with? Like, are you guys selective with like how much work needs to be done? Are you selective with the certain area? Is there one area you like more than another? Is there one like, okay, this is like too big of a project, we're not going to take this one on, or what's all that?
I don't know. As we grow, I'm really liking the big projects. They're a lot of fun.
You don't like it
but
so much?
There's just a lot more risk involved. So
Wait.
I
say
like
again.
knowing. I like the known of the smaller projects, the
Okay.
less money that goes into
Okay.
it, the more like that. I feel better with when I
Okay.
watch the other side of things. My
Okay.
anxiety level goes
Yeah,
up,
yeah,
and I'm
yeah,
like, Okay.
Okay.
Are we sure?
Yeah.
Really?
Okay.
But I love it. Like I said, I have a project manager who's on site every day, but I still want to go there and just look.
Yeah.
Every day.
I'm like, I
Yeah.
just want to see. Oh, look, they painted this one thing. Like, it doesn't really matter. They painted that cabinet over there.
Yeah.
But to me, it's just cool to watch them evolve. I've come from a construction background. I'm a complete nerd for it.
Okay.
And plus, I have a relationship with the people we bought them from. So
So it's cool to
I
see
get
that
super
process.
excited.
Yeah.
Like every one of them, I say, "Hey, do you want to come look at it when we're done?" And most of the time, they do. They usually cry. They get so excited
Oh,
because
that's
most,
so sweet.
I'd say, probably half the properties we buy are inherited homes of grandparents that just couldn't take care of it. The kids don't have enough money to fix
Sure.
it up, and plus, they don't want to deal with all the stuff that's left.
Yeah.
So that's a big chunk of what we end up buying. Is stuff like that. So there's a sentimental value there.
Yeah, for sure.
And we can offer that relationship to where you can come walk through the house. We'll show you everything.
Yeah.
And also, I'm giving them numbers up front because with our real estate license, we're held to a different standard than your average investor.
Okay.
Sure.
We have to disclose everything. So for me, it's
Gotcha.
when I go to a listing appointment on a house that needs some updating or something, I say, this is what we can sell your house for today. If you put this much money into it, this is what you can sell it for. Or I will put this much money into it and sell it, and then this is what I can give you
Okay.
for it. And they basically get to pick 3 different
That's kind of
selections.
cool.
Yeah.
So
That they get some control there.
they
And,
get control. They
yeah,
get
over
control.
what they want to do there. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
And we don't try to make a killing. We figure our margins at 50%. Typically ends up being about 10 because I always find something like I really want to do a waterfall edge over there. So we'll spend
That
extra
just
money.
happened.
Waterfall edge is like a love language.
That's the one we just did on that house up the street from you.
Okay.
It was one of those things that wasn't in the budget.
So how long is all that? Because I feel like you guys are knocking these things out pretty quick.
60 to 90 days,
Wow.
and we're done.
So you've got an efficient crew then.
I've got an amazing crew. My guys are top notch. They do good work. We have a good relationship. I pay my bills. I hate owing them money. So a lot of times when they're dealing with contractors, they're waiting for money.
Yeah.
For me, it's
Yeah,
if I tell you to do something, I'm going to
You
pay you
get
no
paid
matter
that day.
what.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want you to come next time.
It's
I love
funny,
that.
like that's like whenever we were doing, well, which we haven't done one since. Well, we got one sold last year at this time, so it's been almost a year, believe it or not, a little over a year. But that was one thing. Like as soon as they're done, they got paid. I mean, I would have to chase guys down. Hey, man, I'm going to get you paid. Like
Yeah.
you know,
Don't leave yet.
Yeah, let's get
Hold
this
on.
done.
Yeah.
'Cause,
like how can I pay you? I don't know. That was just I hated that. There was this one guy. He didn't cash my check for a year, and I kept
Yeah.
following up with him. I'm like, dude, hey, you still got that check? You need to cash it. Like, yeah, it hasn't been cashed yet. And finally, I actually both times, and it's a buddy of mine. It's one of my best friends. It's his dad, and he's always been like that. He's a drywall guy, and always been like that. He finished our basement. Hey man, you need to cash that check. And I guess what he does is he like loads up all these checks whenever he needs them, and then he'll go cash them all at once.
That's
and
fun.
Anyways, it's just funny because have guys like that, and then you have on the other side where people have to literally worry about getting paid.
right.
So what's the biggest project you guys have ever done?
Over this one.
Well, the
Be
most
money
expensive
or-
one is the
one
one
up
up the street
Pleasant
from
Hill?
you.
Okay.
The worst one was. in
Oh,
Holden.
okay. I guess it could mean,
man.
two different things.
Where
Yeah,
you could
'cause-
walk inside and see daylight.
Yeah, you could go in the basement
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was like daylight. Everything was rotted.
Wow.
It was rough.
Yeah, that one was really rough.
And someone was living in it?
Yeah, the current one
gosh.
we have in
Independent.
Independence, that one was really, really rough too.
reminds me of the bar
Rats and
Independence
mice and human diapers. Just stuff. You just find stuff in it, and the people they just they end up in a rut, and then they get used to it. And they don't even see it anymore.
This reminds me of, I don't know if you guys ever watched that show, Hoarders Buried Alive.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
lost a video, or we lost a camera. What you guys are saying reminds me of that show, where it's like they started obviously with a small, I'm going to hang on to these items, and then next thing you know, I mean, you have to walk over piles of things
Yeah.
to get to the
The
kitchen.
Independence houses, that's exactly what it is.
Really?
I mean, they had dolls, and we ended up. So when we start these houses, your neighborhood wasn't as much because it's not an old neighborhood. But when the older neighborhoods, all the neighbors get really excited because usually these
Oh, I'm
houses are
sure.
trash.
Yeah.
Or they're really worried about the people living in them.
Yeah.
So I meet all the neighbors.
Oh yeah, that's
So-
true.
Sure, it's the talk of the.
Yeah, they all come out.
That's
talk
so
about-
funny. That's how it is on the two that we've done. There's an old man. He would drive his mower over every day. He would saw us and how's it going in here?
Yep.
He
Yep.
did.
The one guy would like, hey man, I got my cameras on your house, so anybody comes through, I got them for you guys. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, so the Independence house, the neighbors, they came over like, oh, there's so much stuff in here because she had everything, kitchen
That's
tables,
so
I
funny.
mean everything,
remember these
couches.
conversations. Yeah.
So she goes, hey, can we sell some of this stuff on Craigslist? I was like, absolutely. Will it make you some extra money? Take what you want because
Yeah.
it's going in a dumpster.
Yeah.
So I get a call in the middle of the night that there's people wandering around this house with flashlights the day after we bought it. And I was like, yeah, I left the doors open. I was hoping people would just take whatever they want. They did. They took a bunch of stuff.
They took their
They
Craigslist
saved me
stock.
a full dumpster.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And I guess they sold it all on
I mean, good for them. I mean,
Yeah, I was
you
like,
got
do it.
Everybody's got to hustle somehow, you
I
know.
just need the stuff out of the house.
100%.
Yeah.
Because interest rates on everything's higher.
Yeah, so you're just-
so for us,
Time thing.
time's money.
Yeah.
And I'd rather just throw it all away and get it gone. So for
That's
them,
awesome.
You got some little workers overnight.
yeah, they were there.
Get in there and getting it done.
Yep, it's kind of crazy. All the neighbors, they get so excited,
know.
and then they want to see what you're doing, so they come walk through, and you can't get anything done. But
Do you remember the Independence house? The one guy?
Yes. Oh,
Because
yeah.
that one was vacant for like 7 years. So like I remember we filled up 5 dumpsters before we could even do anything.
oh my gosh,
And dude, that guy, he was just every day he'd come on. How's it going, Jake? it's coming along real good, man. Anyway. So that's great. So how many guys? Last question, real quick. How many houses have you guys flipped?
I think we did 12 last year.
Wow. So
I would
that's-
love to have to think about how many houses I
I
flipped.
know. That's why I've been wanting to know this. So you guys probably flipped 50 houses.
No,
No?
no, we've done probably 20 together.
Okay. Okay.
And then I think I did probably 5 or 6 by myself.
Okay.
Years and years ago.
Well, we'll bring up. That conversation needs to go another way, but we're running out of time today. So,
Yep.
anything else you want to ask?
We can do it again sometime.
Yeah.
Talk about just flips or just
Yeah.
Just commercial real
Yeah.
estate,
We could go down a path.
Yeah.
We could. I mean, we
It's
could have a
addicting.
It
whole.
could be a 5-hour
I know.
talk
Yeah.
because I have a lot of other questions I wanted to ask. But, so
Yeah.
That's okay.
okay.
Cool.
All right,
yeah.
guys. Well, no,
thank you so
guys
much
for
for
being on.
Absolutely.
joining. If you would like more information on New Edge,
Yeah.
all of their information will be listed in the description box. I'll post all of their social media links here in the on the frame. So give them a call, check them out, see what they're all about.
And you guys have a new shop downtown Pleasant Hill here
Oh,
too.
yes.
We
So,
do.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
stop by.
109 Wyoming.
Okay.
109 Wyoming.
Yep,
Okay.
we're right
Yep.
there next to Big
Super
Creek
nice
Cafe.
place,
Very
by the
nice.
way.
Really cool.
Very nice.
Yep. So buying a house, selling a house, need your house bought. You guys
Yeah.
are the people to go to.
We're the
Testing.
ones.
Good
Yep.
people. Good
Even-
people. Been around a long time.
We help people.
so.
They just want to do rehab work on
Yep.
one of their own projects. They want me to
Or
work through it.
advice.
Well, we're
I call
Okay.
Devon
Yeah.
sometimes and ask for some advice.
that's what we're here for.
Yep.
Okay.
I enjoy that side of it.
Yeah.
So with Andrea and Shauna doing all the real work, I get to kind of do all the fun stuff.
It's like a damn recess for you all day long.
Pretty much.
Almost.
It is because I love it. I get so
Yeah.
excited. So,
Cool.
Cool.
Well, thank you guys
All
so
right,
much
guys.
for
Thank you,
joining
guys.
us and
Thank you.
sharing.
Yeah.
We appreciate you.
Okay.
Peace out.